What up? What up? Bankroll 10 bedded up. All right, y'all. Here is the black Malibu. Same owner as the white Malibu. So he just came, picked up the white one, dropped this one off. All right, so this one is a 79. The other one was an 81. This one has an LS in it. Got a nice little thumpity thump cam in it. This one 12 bolt. I built this one I think two, 3 years ago, this rear end, and again he brought it and we fabbed it up, narrowed it. Somebody else frame notched this one and they actually did a good job, but as you can see, this has a 3/4 spacer on there, so depending on what lip rim this is, boom. So if that's only a 6-inch lip, a 7-inch lip go right out here. But yeah, so the 12 bolt that's in this one, I did the curve in the brace in the bottom, but I let it overhang the ends. There's a couple of the cars I did this to before. That's before I was bending, you know, limited supply of tubing. If I bent it too much, wasn't remembering shit, having too much going on, this, that. But anyways, so it's got the brace on it, hanging down a little bit, but the ends are capped in. It still braces it, still ties the torque box to it. So yeah, 24s. As you can see, that front alignment, what they call that, the stanky leg, bow-legged, whatever the hell y'all want to call it. A clean car. So this car, he doesn't even have that many miles on this one either. He has less miles on the white car, but this one has QA1 shocks on the back. I don't know the QA1 number, single adjustable, but in the last couple of weeks of it sitting in his garage, he noticed some oil on the back, and I was like, what the hell? So there was only a couple drops on the back right coil over, but the left had a big ass puddle. So both of these back shocks blew out and the car hasn't even been driven. So I don't know if there's anybody out there that ever seen your coilovers just start leaking when the cars are just sitting around, not even got that many miles on it. I understand people that trailers and stuff like that, and some people will blow out some shocks that way, but that's kind of rare too that I hear of, unless it's happened and y'all want to let me know. So anyways, we got a set of Viking 207s to put on the back. So we're gonna use the same spring that he's got on there, obviously the same brackets, all that shit. Just gonna take these shocks off, put those shocks on. He loves the way it sets. This one, basically the white one I just made set the same way, the same stance as this one, but I didn't know where this one had sat, and it's 29 inches from the ground up to that quarter on both sides. So he likes his height, so I'll put it back to that height. We already know the number. The front got some BMR upper and lower control arms on it. They're the hammer color gray or whatever, hammer right, whatever the hell it's called. But they come up short for alignment. So what was just being said on the Facebook the other day, somebody posted something about box Chevy arms, and they did the research and this and that, and why would you want to do what everybody else does, and why should you follow after everybody else, and something about the QA1 arms and all these other arms are just as good and this and that. No, there's not a single front tubular upper and lower control arm out there that compares to QA1. I said it, cried 2 tears in a bucket. Call me, state something different, state something about all price, all this and that. You know what, buy them one time and be done. Guys out there get in a rush, get in a hurry, look online and find something on Amazon or something that's cheap as hell. They put them on the car, and they find out this is wrong and that's wrong, and the arm don't clear right, stuff like that. So QA1, top of the line arms out there. This one's got some BMRs on it, so again, if it copied stock geometry, something's obviously wrong because there's no shims. I think there's a couple shims on each side, whatever, like front on this side, back on this side, whatever. But that wheel shouldn't be leaned in like that. The other car, the white car, stock control arms, stock other ball joints, and that car lined up perfect, and it's got plenty of travel in the front. But this is an aftermarket arm that probably weren't that much cheaper than QA1, and it didn't work. So we're gonna throw a set of longer ball joints in there, the All-Stars. So I had to get them. Here's the longer ball joint right there. There's the part number. You can probably even get them off Amazon. Get them sent to you cheaper from Amazon due to if you order these from All-Stars themselves. I did this a couple weeks ago on something, some brake line fitting something, and it was like $17 shipping from them, and the part was still $10, whatever. But what I needed, I was able to get through Amazon for like $13. So yeah, I spent $1 or something more, but obviously I got Amazon Prime, so free shipping. But yeah, that ball joint right there, bolt right in the arm, and I should be able to get the geometry totally set and still degree the spindle back for the sport steering like I do. But yeah, that thing, it's one hell of a camber, negative camber. But yeah, good looking car, nice looking wheel. We got 373 gear in the back. Got a posi in it. Like I said, the LS sounds good. He says he ain't never done a burnout or anything, but he said he didn't do it, so might have some more marks, some fresh marks right here, you know. But alright, yeah, so I'm gonna get that thing in here. Probably change these springs out, or rear shocks out today, and then just get it totally done tomorrow. Then I'll have him come get this thing, and I will get the Hearst, the New York covers, get it in here and start tearing it apart. All right, let me put this thing on the rack, and I'll show you guys some more of this. Bet that be right back. All right. Just got it up on the lift. But here's what I'm talking about. 12 bolt. Like I said, this is what I'm talking about on the brace. You see, and then I went straight underneath the middle instead of going behind on the housing one right here, like I do now. Anyways, here's what it's leaking. See the shock? And it's coming right out of the building. So it's just been dripping. And it already has a couple drips right there. It just got up here. I know, before y'all say it, someone's gonna say, well, it's probably because of the angle that you have the shocks on. Oh, that's probably what made it. No, the shock is free in between those positions. It's not biting, it's not fighting, it's not jammed up against there. And then look at bolt ends. Bolt ends are on angles. But no, why it just started leaking, I don't know. I have Vikings on the front of my Trailblazer, and they're a 12-inch spring. I got a 650 spring or a 600 spring on the front because it's a Trailblazer, it's lifted. And my left front one, out of the blue, one day, it just started leaking. So that's in the Viking. Obviously, Viking and QA1, same shit, same everything. Why it started leaking, that one I don't even know. I never even paid attention to where it's leaking from, but this one you can see obviously is leaking right out of the valve, right out of the knob. These are a 12-inch. The spring is actually a 220 spring, so This is pretty soft. And if we look at where it was riding, you can see it's got that dirt pushed up. So, I mean, it's still got some stroke there. It might be coil bound a little bit, but I just tried to do a whole shot in the driveway. Didn't have enough temperature in it though. I think it was only at like 140. But I backed up over there by the scrap man and I juiced it. I had never told you before, but I juiced it and that motherfucker hooked and lifted the front end, like the front end stretched up. You felt the ass end plant. So, you know, this lower control arm being down a little bit of an angle when it's sitting on the ground, drive the tires into the ground more. But I didn't really get into gas. You know, I got in a little bit. It's not my shit. I'm not gonna break it. Nobody here to film it. You know, you get somebody here film it, do some shit like that, and then do a little more because you're on camera. But yeah, this it's got a decent frame notch to it, but this one is showing the back of the rim was right here, right here. You can see it a little bit, but no anti-roll. It's like I was saying, I told them about the other car, and this one, the next step is put a cross brace, do the anti-roll, and then do the shock tabs, so that way you can mount these up there, and then we'll straighten up this position, because I always set the boxes to where when the coilovers go in, as close to the frame as you can get to be able to get the nut up there and put it all together, and more stability. The farther out you are, the more stability, and obviously anti-roll, more stability. So if it's driveway or alley or whatever, pulling up in there. I mean, this is a little bit of an angle up here, but you know, when you're going to incline, the rear end goes like this. With the sway bar or the anti-roll, it takes away 90% of that. But yeah, that tank is fully gray, so I think you can buy them like that. The neck is like that. Obviously, I noticed this one. Maybe all the other ones were like that. I just didn't notice it. But let's see what we got. We got turbo 350 trans. We got the LS. A little drippy drip over there. This one, it's got BMRs in the front. And he's got QA1 coilovers in the front. I don't know what spring that is. Let's see, I cannot get to where it says what spring it is. As much as it's turned up, and this being a 24 run here, I'm gonna have to say that's a 350 or a 400, maybe even a 450 spring. That's what that is. If I could find the number on it, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna find that number. 550s on these with 24s, maybe you need to turn them up an inch to sit where this car is sitting. So I'll put the lock plate down here. In between the lock plate is my measurement. And I'm talking about just having an inch down here with a 550 spring. And the 550 springs are gonna last longer. The softer the spring, that spring ain't made to be under that much of a load, you know, because of the size of the big rims, you know, the bigger the rim. Front frame nice, decent. It's got some rub there, but it's got the alignment issues. So obviously when the wheel turns, the wheel just lays over inside there. So, but it's got a decent, see, got a decent frame now. Yeah. All right, well, we got the Viking. We went with the 207, like I said. It's a little bit shorter than a 12, but a 207. You got to push the spring down just a little bit on there to get the collar on it. You got those other ball joints we're going to mess with. So yeah, you get done bolting. Get something done today besides putting the car in the lift. All right, y'all, I'll be back. Yo, I'm back. All right, y'all. The rear is set up. I got the QA ones right here, which got that rubber top, which is bullshit. got these off, took the springs, put the springs on these Vikings. I had, in order to set the car back to the height that was at, I moved it up 2 holes, 1, 2. These shocks are just a little bit shorter. This is a 207 Viking shock, okay? So that shock, being the QA1, is equivalent, I want to say that that shock is equivalent to the 207 Viking shock, which is a 12-inch shock. Pay attention right here, how much gap is here. So these springs are a 12-inch spring, and when they were on that shock, they were, you know, they had a bigger, way bigger gap right here. So on this shock, this is a 207, this is a little bit shorter than a 12. So yes, it's in between a 10, it's in between a 10 and a 12. So yes, it's somewhere around 11-inch shock. At the shortest, I think. At the longest is whatever. But this is the shock setup I've been using. I pulled the rubber down, the rubber seal, which is normally all the way up on top. I pull it down, all the way down there. So that way, the first time I set the car down, I can see, and when I push on it, I can see how much shock stroke is left and how much travel, boom. So as you can see, that's pretty much in the center. So that's got good travel both ways. We're not running out, we're not coil binding. This is a 220 spring. So by me turning it up, I have it at 11 1/8 in between the top plate and adjustment plate. I have it at 11 1/8. So being at 11 1/8, knowing what my number is out here from the ground up to that quarter, I put it right back to that number, and I put it down one time to adjust that by moving this up 2 holes. More adjustment is better. Bolt-in coilovers, if you don't get a kit that has a ton of adjustment, you're not gonna be able to adjust your shit right. Most of the time when you buy the bottom grade kit, you don't have a lot of adjustment. You got a real soft spring, then you're trying to twist the spring up, and then you get the spring all the way up, and then you got a shit ride. Welded coilover setups. You know, I've had those people be like, what are you talking about? I said, bolt-in, welding, this is a bolt-in, blah, blah. This is a welding setup because of all this that's down here. You got all this adjustability. For any height that you want to set the vehicle, you can adjust how good it hooks, or how good it spins the tires, shit like that. Street drive, track drive, on a hard tire, whatever. This car's not braced underneath. Maybe it needs to be braced, but he don't care about all that. He's just driving. But built the rear ends, that way he can build it. He can take it home, put it right in his car, bolt it all up. And he bolted it up fine, bolted it up excellent. His shocks, the QA1s, which are those right there, started leaking. Why they started leaking? Have no idea why they started leaking, but they started leaking. They're single adjustable, meaning one knob. You got compression control, that's it. And your spring height. Over here you got double adjustable. You have your compression, you have your rebound. This car, I set it 3 and 2. This other car, I set it 3 and 2. This is a 220 spring. The other car was a 250 spring. Normally 3 and 2 does excellent for ride quality. Tire pressure comes into play. We're dealing with rims that have very little sidewall, low profile, lower tire pressure, 33, 34, 32. No more than 35. Gives you a good ride, everything absorbs, and the tires rock hard. You hit a bump, it gives no time for anything to work, the suspension to work, it just bam! What's it do? It dents your rim, bends your shit. Tire says 40 PSI max. No, you don't want to be at 40. 32, 33, 34, 35 max. You're gonna save your rim, you're gonna let the suspension do its job. Your compression and rebound controls, boom. The shocks come with a chart. Well, they used to come with the chart that would show you street, strip, cruise, road handling, shit like that. Now I don't think they really do come with that chart anymore, but you can go online and look at that chart. So that way you can do a base tune where you want to start off, and then you count your clicks, you can turn them, and then you take it for a ride. Take it down the same road, whatever road you adjust it on, around the block, shit like that. Feel it. Start playing with your knob. You got 18 positions of each knob. then you'll start figuring out that you can get your car, with the right spring, you can get your car to adjust. Softer the spring, the more you're gonna go with your compression rebound. The stiffer the spring, the less you're gonna go with your compression rebound. That's my opinion and my experience of dealing with all this. Every car's gonna be different. So you just gotta fine tune your shit depending on how much weight you gotta have in it, how much weight you have in the trunk. 212s, 112, fucking 412s, 415s, whatever. How much interior you got, how much sounds you got in there. You're gonna see good adjustments. Take that O-ring, that's all the way up top, pull it all the way down, bolt your car up, boom, set your car down, look at everything, look at your clearances, push the car up and down, and you'll see where that goes. That is in the middle of that. This is your shock stroke, boom. So we know when the car sits down, it goes to there. Well, I push the car up and down, that's where it stops. So I got all that stroke still there. So the car, I've done it long enough, the car's gonna ride good. There's a bass tuning for you right there just off watching the video. Rear end, quarter panels, the adjustment. He had the pinion angle pretty good. The rear end, a couple of the jam nuts on the uppers and the lowers were undone. Maybe he turned them the wrong way, maybe he forgot, whatever. Went through. This side is showing the quarter is straight. This side, you might not be able to see it, but if you look at that quarter, look at that. It rounds out. So you can see the quarter panel rounds out. So when the car sits down on the ground, this side was showing a different number of how the wheel sits in. All the measurements to the frame out, which is where you square it to, you square it to the frame, everything came up within. So I noticed one scrub mark here with the rim. Now that could be the notch. The notch could just be a little off. It's not tearing the rim up too bad. You know, it's a light little rim, scuff on the rim. Most likely inclines, gas stations, driveways pulling in on incline, there's no anti-roll. So I went ahead and I lengthened upper control arm right a little bit so I can push the rear end to the left just a little bit, just to help with this drag right here. But he does know, both cars, we are gonna upgrade to a cross brace and an anti-roll. You know, dude's a real motherfucker, he's got a job, shit like that, he's got a family, woo-woo, he tinkers around with the cars, shit like that. So, little bits at a time, here and there, I don't mind. Doing little bits to cars here and there. Me being one person in the shop, now that I got the house, being in the shop, walking out, one person, still doing it all. It's easier for me to do quick jobs, little stuff, in and out, boom. So that helps me, it helps them. I hate doing the big jobs. Big jobs, it's a ton of shit to do. And then you gotta micromanage. You take your spreadsheet, you write it down, you wanna tackle this, this, and this, and this today. You do that, you write it down, boom, how many hours you're in the garage, stuff like that, boom. Slowly it's gonna get better. Slowly I'm gonna feel better. I'm already feeling better. I'm way more relaxed out here. Calm, cool, relaxed, boom, loving it. So yeah, this car, the ass end is done. Couple hours, the ass end is done. Coilovers are in there, everything's switched, everything's locked, meaning everything's tight. I locked the lock plates so you can't turn them. Well, that's just the, you know, the pivot points are, but all that shit's locked, jammed up, boom. Brand new. So now, the front. I don't think he has any, this one has coilovers in the front. I think I was already showing that. So the coilovers. I don't think he has any. Let's see. Let's see if there's any. This is a QA1, so let's see. Nope, he still got it at 0. So when I did the whole shot in the driveway and the front end came up, felt like I was doing a wheelie. Yeah, and it's because those were at 0. So being at 0, it would allow it to just jump up real fast. I probably do that right now. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll just go to 6 because they're a single adjustable. This one's at 0. So all the way left, if you can't turn it no more to the left, that's at 0. And then when you turn them, you'll feel the clicks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so now we got the longer shaft ball joint that we're gonna put in. So I'm gonna put the longer shaft ball joint in there. It's the very first thing I'm gonna do before I set it on the plates and align the front. The longer ball joint, you guys seen this car, it was cambered in nasty. What you can see, it's cambered in nasty. Negative camber, stanky leg, bow-legged, whatever you wanna call it. We'll set it down and we're gonna adjust the alignment. So by just putting that ball joint in, the stock way that it goes in, sitting on top of the arm, 4-bolt ball joint, boom, it's gonna bolt right in. It's already longer, so by it being longer, it should come out, and the top of the wheel should come out. If it doesn't come out enough, I will take the ball joint back out and bolt it to the underside of the arm, meaning under here. So this piece right here on the longer ball joint will be underneath. Then I'll bolt it back together. And that's gonna make it come out more. Now, if it comes out too much, that's fine because we can shim it. We can shim the alignment, we can shim the upper control arms, and we're gonna get both ball joints in the exact location. We're gonna measure from the plate, the alignment plate, and we're gonna go up to the tie rod or the spindle spot right here. This is all the same machining on all this shit. So if you measure from here to the top of that alignment plate, boom. We want the number to be the same. So if this number is 13, we want to make that side 13. If that side's non-adjustable and it's at 12.5, and the side's adjustable, meaning with the shims, then we want to make this side 12.5. So that way they both equal out. Once they're equal out, the car is going to drive straight down the road. Then we do the toe in and toe out. Toe in and toe out, we measure tread. So if you want to go from this tread all the way to that tread, this tread, whichever tread. Some tires get a little goofy because the tread line and stuff like that, but most of the time they'll have, so if you can't use the big mark, you can use the little mark. Wherever you measure on the front of the tire right here, from here to this tire, is what you're gonna do on the back side of the tire, and you're gonna make a square. And when you make that square, but you have to be on plates. You need this plate to move. They have these alignment plates. These are old school. These are heavy as hell. They have the new school ones are on Amazon, but you want the one that swivels both ways. You want the one that gives you capture, camber, toe in, toe out. They're probably like $300. They're aluminum. They're lightweight. These things weigh a ton. Again, they're heavy as hell. They're a motherfucker to carry around, shit like that. They've broke. That's why I got the plate welded to the bottom. I got a whole bunch of ball bearings. I think I showed this before, but all the bearings right there. This is on here. You don't need to know measurements. You don't need to know this arrow. None of that shit. All you need to do is when you put that car down. So let's say you set it like that. When you put that car down, boom, the wheel's set. Levels out the car. Everything sits. Then you can take all your measurements and shit like that and figure out, boom. So if you set it on those plates, you measure the back of the car. You know the back of the car is level, the height wise, and you go to the front and this side's up 3/4 of an inch more than that side, then you know you got to turn your coil over up on that side, level it out, stuff like that. If you're having a problem leveling it out with the anti-roll or the sway bar on it, disconnect one of the links so that way you can level out, then you hook the link back up. This has got a real little sway bar on it. Goofy. It's going to give you more lean side to side, stuff like that, but most of the time if the car hasn't been wrecked, it's going to come out level. If you are off a little bit on your coil over adjustment height wise, when you put the sway bar links on there, it will level it out. Sometimes you got to look at the body. If the fenders ain't on, shim the same way. If you don't have the same gaps, the fender might be off, so wherever you're measuring from the ground up could be what's off. As long as you're all within, you'll be able to get it all set up, get it all aligned. So yeah, that's what we're on to next. Let me pull these front wheels off. And start taking these ball joints apart. And that'll be the next thing done on the Malibu. All right, I'll be back. All right. So, back on it. Check this out. Look at that wheel. Doesn't that wheel look like it's pretty much straight up and down? Oh, yes it does. And that's in the air. All right. Look at this side. Ooh, she's cambered in nasty. So, we have stock ball joint, and this side bolted to the top side of the arm like you would see in the stock control arm. All right. Then we have this ball joint right here, which is the All-Star ball joint. All right, All-Star Performance. Boom. See right there? Lower friction ball joint, upper bolt-in metric GM plus 1 inch. So, like the QA1 control arms, with the changeable upper front ball joint, this and that, to change the arm from a regular arm to a pro touring arm, which we need more alignment, more adjustability. We have a 1 inch longer shaft ball joint that changes this and that. Well, here is bolt-in. So you can put this in your stock control arm on your G body or your box Chevy. Just because it says metric, don't matter. It will bolt in a box Chevy or a G body or any old school A body, dunk, it'll bolt in. The stock arm has rivets that hold this in. You take a air chisel, you get the rivet off of there, boom. When you bolt this in, you bolt it in with bolts. I use the bolts that they had in on this side, and I put the ball joint underneath. So that way I have more adjustability on this. Now, somebody's probably like, oh, somebody noticed it from that arm to this arm. This angle of this arm is the same way as the other one. So the other side angles towards the front, this one angles towards the back. These are a set of BMR arms that are on here. Bill Miller Racing, BMR, you can see the texture, hammer coat, hammer right, whatever the hell you want to call this, right, the texture. Well, this man got his box and he put them on himself. This dude does a lot of shit himself. He put them on the car. He didn't know. He didn't know there was a difference. So when they boxed up the arms from the factory, which now the factory, you know, is got to do with the hurricane shit. These are two left control arms. So there's a left control arm on this side. Here, let me turn those. A left control arm on this side, and there's a left control arm on that side. If you look at your stock control arm to this control arm, the ball joint sits to the front. Now, if you look at this side, look at the angle of it. It sits towards the back. So, we have to deal with this for right now because it's a 10-month back order due to the hurricane and all the stuff that's going on over there, this and that, blah, blah. He could put some stock control arms on this one. The white car has stock control arms with stock ball joints and it has tons of clearance. This car does sit a pinch higher in the front than that car, but it doesn't matter. Me, in knowing how to do all this and how I measure and how I align shit, because I do custom alignments and I don't need a computer or a machine telling me what to do. I set it on my plates and I align it. So right now they have 5 shims in the front side of this control arm on the stud. The other side, in the back, on the left side, they have 2 or 3 shims. When he went to have it aligned, the place even told him, like, man, we don't know what's wrong, but we can't align it and this and that. So they did the best they could, and nobody knew. Nobody knew until I was looking at it the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, something's wrong. And I was like, dude, these are both the exact same arm. And I didn't know. I told him yesterday when he was here that they were both a left or both a right. I didn't know which one yet until I think it was later on yesterday when I realized they were both left. And obviously you can see, look at how the ball joint is placed right there. That looks normal. So the arm curves out, curves up in the back. Then if you go to this side, now this is stuff I don't have to show you guys. There's no, like, I'm not trying to fucking purposely show and say, oh, this and that, and somebody fucked up and all this and that. But this is what happens. Shit happens. And somebody boxed up the wrong shit and put 2 lefts in a box. So you can see the angle right there. Look how it lines up. This is a left control arm. That's a left control arm. That one fits the car better. Boom. I know how to align it. I know how to make it work until he gets the other arm, and then I'll be able to change it. But the car will work and will drive properly because we don't have 6 inches of travel with the front end with coilovers. I didn't realize he had floating caps until I took the wheel off. I took the wheel off, set the wheel down, and when I set the wheel down, I heard, I'm like, what the hell is that? Duh, it's a floating cap. Rucci likes to set their cap out. They set, I know I'm jumping subjects, but listen, they set the cap out on the outside so it clears more, and then it bevels more, and it clears the spindle nut. It clears all that more. Amani, 4G even I think goes on the outside, but Amani, all that problem I had with the Cutlass, and then dude's cap ended up, the bolt in the back caught the spindle, and something as it was rotating, you know how knockoff spokes have left and right hand thread adapters, so when you hit the brakes it doesn't come loose. Well, his left front one spun enough to where it unscrewed the nut on the 2 piece of the cap, and his outer cap, floating cap, gone. All because it was touching the spindle shaft just a little bit too much. But anyways, Rucci, that's a plus. 4G, that's a plus. Back in the day, for these caps to go on, 4G actually, with the wheels, and Santi, I think it was, they had a spacer that some cars, you could put them on, like a front-wheel drive car, doesn't have that big spindle nut sitting out here, that you could bolt them, push the center cap straight in. But then older cars, you needed to have to clear the spindle shaft. So they had an adapter that you would push that plastic adapter ring in, and then you would put your cap on. It would sit out a little bit more, but still you can put your cap on to where it wouldn't hit. A lot of people out there pay attention. A lot of people out there know what they're doing, and there's still plenty of people out there that are just getting y'all and making y'all spend more money and this and that, and then you want to blame it on the installer and this and that and the wheel shop and this and that. But anyways, all right, y'all. BANKROLL 10. I put that side on. I'm about to put this side on. And yeah, I already changed over the coilover, the springs. I don't know if I showed that. This is a 207 shop. Oh yeah, I did. I showed all that. I'm out here working and trying to figure out all this and all that. But I got it all changed over. Got it set down. Set's good. But look at this from back here. Look at that wheel in the front. Leaning nasty. Let me go to the side. Damn near straight up and down. Rucci has a good offset with the front wheel, meaning obviously this is a 2-piece wheel. It's not a 3-piece. 2-piece is shiny here, but it's like their hub, how the depth here and everything is. Forgiato for some reason sits out more. So when they're making their hubs, they're making their center part of the wheel. I don't know why they put more hub on there or less hub. Whichever way I'm trying to say it. But like none of these places, I would have a car. I would have a G-body sitting in my shop if I was a rim guy. I would have a G-body sitting in my shop. I'd have a Dunk sitting there, and I'd have a box Chevy sitting there, and I would have the rims made to clear the center cap, the hub, this, that, whatever. I would make the wheel fit. So how much lip you have here, you know, how much hub you have here. I would make it fit to where when I say, oh yeah, this wheel bolts right on a G-body, it bolts right on a G-body. Oh, you need this modification. Bam. I would totally have all that set up. But I ain't got that money. But if there's any of you guys out there that's got that big money background and you want to set up some real shit and start making some real shit that bolts on, so that way it's easier for the customer, and they ain't got to do all this custom fabrication or send it out to have all this custom fabrication done to the car. Guess what? Link up with me and we'll hook it up. BANKROLL 10, bet it up. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. There we go. We got the upper ball joints changed. I was able to shim out the arms to make both spindles sit the same. Gotta put some grease. I'm gonna take it up, put some grease in the ball joint, grease whatever else I can grease underneath there. Jam the tie rods sleeves, because I had to redo the alignment once I moved the spindles. So I redid toe in, toe out. Camber caster is set. And then the back is, I think, a little bit lower than what it was, which is all good. But yeah, ball joints, alignment. Wheels are straight up and down. I like to put them at just like a negative, like a half a degree inwards. So, because sometimes the backs will just give the look that the front wheel is out at the top, because the back, you know, the back's most of the time, the deeper rim, stuff like that, deeper lip, it makes them look like they're sitting in at the top a little bit. And then the front, if you have it straight up and down, plumb, it looks like the front is out at the top due to the back, the squat, the sag, whatever. So camber rim in just a little bit of camber is good for handling and shit like that. Obviously pro touring and all that stuff. Look at those cars, drift cars and shit, you know, camber. But yeah, not all the way in like they were. So I will take this thing back up, tighten up the tie rod sleeves, jam them, and put some grease in the ball joints, and I'll pull it outside and get a little video around this thing outside, probably with it running too. This thing got some nice chop to it. But alright, y'all, bet it up. I am done with it. Just took some pictures of it out here. Told you I'd let you hear it. Got a little chop. I got nobody else here, or else I'd have somebody drive it up and down the driveway, go on the driveway, something like that, you know, but nobody else is here. You can see the wheels are straight up and down in the front compared to before. Malibu. You know what? Let me show you guys. You got that nice dash. I like that. But this car, you know, I probably got the grass in the seat. But yeah, I like it. This roof, this headliner's not done yet, but somebody asked what the other, the Ruchis, and they do have fluid cap. I don't know the series or whatever the name of them are. But yeah. Alright, y'all. There it is. 79, the only one with the white in the middle. Obviously 78 have the angle to the side. 78 are different than 79. 79 is different than 80. 80 is different than 81. They're all different tail lights. But that's 79 right there. And he said it is a true 79. Alright, y'all. There we go. Adjustments.